What's up, Rockstar? Coach Betty Rocker here. Welcome to this full body refresh workout. So in this workout, we're gonna be really taking things back to basics, and I'll be giving you some great cues to help you if you're building a base with your foundations and your fitness, or maybe you're coming back to fitness after some time off, so that you can really have confidence in the form that you're using. I would really encourage you to have a chair or a piece of furniture nearby to brace yourself with so that we can really get into the right form for things. Maybe you want to have something like an ottoman, or you want to use the side of a chair because we'll do things like elevating our push-up to really help us build that strong plank form. And of course, you're more than welcome to have some weighted objects, some light-weighted objects if you happen to have some water bottles around the house or even some dumbbells. Those will totally come in handy. So we're going to get started with some sumo squats. I absolutely love the sumo squat because it gives us such a nice supported base. So we'll step our feet out wider than hip distance, brace through the core as if you were going to take a punch, which neutralizes your spine. And then we'll send our hips back and then powerfully come up, feeling your glutes turn on as you come to standing. Now, another thing I love about the sumo squat is it naturally invites us to duck our toes out slightly. So our toes don't have to be perfectly parallel, facing perfectly parallel. They're sort of out slightly. And that invites our knees to align along the toe length, or the toe direction, which is really helpful. Now, as I'm sitting down and standing, I'm feeling that bracing of my core, which is really helping to engage my glutes. It's helping to stabilize the pelvic area and really keeping everything nice and aligned. I'm using my ottoman to tap my butt down to help guide me and make sure my posterior chain is really engaged. Nice. Now that was plenty of practice sumo squats. That was awesome. And of course, as you get more and more comfortable, you don't have to sit down to anything, but I think it's really helpful because there is a very natural lean that our chest does as we come into a sumo squat, which I think is just helpful to keep in mind. Now we're going to work on some push-ups, and I like to do an elevated position for these to start with. So you could either have your knees down to start. This is a great way to start out. Really open through your chest. Find that engaged braced core, and then let your elbows flare out to the side as you lower your chest down towards your elevated surface, and then press back up. Now this is our first set of the day, so even if you're like, hey, I can totally do those up on my toes, it might be helpful and feel good to your body to get into it, to sort of ease into it by applying lighter pressure, and do these in a kneeling position. And if you're like, oh, I can do more, try exploring lifting one foot up and straightening it back behind you, maybe even grazing the toe down and keeping your pelvis very straight and stable. Your back is not arched here. You've got a nice strong plank. That was plenty of practice. Great job. Thank you for joining me. Now we're gonna move into a little bit more of a cardio type move. And for this, I'm once more gonna start out with my elevated surface. I could be using my chair here. I'm just really short, so I find that it's easier for me to have a slightly lower surface. So here I'm gonna stand in my basic squat form. My feet are a little bit closer together than they would be in the sumo. And I'm gonna dangle my hands down between my calves. And as I come up, I'm gonna sweep them up overhead, which is gonna give me a little bit of a cardio move. Now, once again, just like with the sumo squat, I'm tuning into my knees tracking in alignment with my toes. My core is braced, and I really do like having that cue behind me as I'm coming in and out of this squat, especially for this first round as I'm lining everything up. Now, if you start to feel, okay, I could go a little faster, feel free to go a little bit faster. Keep it up. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Nice work. Whew. Now we're gonna move into a move for the back of our arms, our triceps. This is a triceps extension. So maybe you wanna grab a couple of weighted objects, and I'll start out standing up tall. And I'm gonna round my shoulders back and down, putting them into their sockets. So as I'm standing tall here for you, you can see how my shoulders are aligned with my ears. And if I were to collapse and round them, they'd be in front of my ears. So I'm gonna then just tilt my body forward slightly, draw my elbows up at my sides, and kick my arms straight back. I'm bracing my core, and I'm just kicking those arms back, and I can have a lot of control here. We're just gently pressing those elbows back, and you'll see how my palms turn back away as they come behind me, just like that. Nice. Just give me a couple more here, just exploring this position. Beautiful. Bend your knees to set your weighted objects down. And I'm gonna use the back of my chair to help hold me upright. Now I'm gonna start out by stepping back with my right leg, coming into a supported reverse lunge. So give me a couple just like that, going straight back, keeping your body upright, imagining you're wearing a tall crown on your head that's not falling down. If this feels okay to you, I want you to test out doing the reverse curtsy lunge, which is where we take the front knee and bring it behind the stable heel. Nice. Now, if this bothers you at all, if this bothers your knee, just go right back into the straight back reverse lunge. The reverse curtsy just targets the gluteal muscles in a slightly different way. You're gonna get a great workout with either position. Let's try that on the other side. So we're gonna stabilize through the right front foot, and I'm gonna go straight back with the left foot. And once again, I'm just gonna do a couple the regular way, and then I'll step it back behind the standing heel just to get that crossover. And what's important about this is that my pelvis remains facing forward on both sides even as I step back. So I'm not rotating back or rotating my pelvis around behind me. I'm keeping the pelvic bowl facing forward even as I step back with that knee. Let's do one more. Nice work. And last but not least, we're gonna play around with our bicep curls and explore some different versions of the bicep curl. So you can do your biceps curls seated or standing, but let's safely pick up any weighted objects by first bending the knees and bringing them in close to the body. And I'll start out once more bringing my chest up and then curling straight up. And then I'm gonna curl out to the sides. So out to the sides. And then in, my arms come back in, and my hands come straight up to my chest. And then I rotate my shoulders out slightly, and then I go out, and then I come back in. Nice and slow and controlled. And if you've been in a class with me any other times, and we've talked about bicep curls, if you feel like your weights are too light, one way to make lighter weights feel heavier is to do an eccentric contraction on the way down, which is where you slowly lower the weights down, and you're bringing those two heads of the muscle apart from each other, but you're doing it slowly. So that's why it's called an eccentric contraction. This is a concentric contraction when we bring the two heads of the muscle closer together. So that was awesome. You did great. You just finished your first round of the workout, and we'll go right back into another set of those sumo squats, and we're gonna build on what we did in the first round. So stand tall. You can use an elevated surface to support you. Brace your core. If you like, you can bring your arms out in front of you or even hold on to something beside you as you work on this. And if you'd like to build on your sumo squats a little bit more and you don't want to be tapping your butt down to something, you could hold on to a piece of furniture in front of you to help guide you. And what you're doing here is just really maintaining that strong posterior chain and that activation of your glutes as you come up and down. But feel free to keep using your elevated surface. I'll often use an elevated surface to just align myself, my form. It doesn't matter how advanced I get. I always just want to make sure that I'm really aligned and using good form. So when you ever hear somebody tell you to keep your chest up, what they're really wanting you to avoid is that you're bending over in your squat. But if you're keeping your chest up too far, you might be winking your butt under too much as you come into a squat. So what you want to do is allow your body to naturally lean a little bit forward to help balance you while keeping that core braced and everything lined up over your toes. So that's really what we mean here. Great job. Nice practice. We're just building on this every time. We're going to come into our another set of those elevated push-ups now. And I'll use my chair to brace me. And I left off last time with one foot off the ground and the other knee down. And this might feel good or it might not feel good. And if you prefer to keep both knees down, please be my guest. I like this sort of in-between variation with one knee up and one knee down because it helps put more pressure on the chest, and it's a great intermediary between this, which is an elevated plank on your toes, and the kneeling plank. So you can work between these if you'd like. You could just do a couple push-ups up on your toes and a couple more down kneeling. And that was it. Nice practice. Beautiful work. We'll move back into that more cardio-based squat. And again, I invite you to use the balance to have the support if that's helpful, but we're going to step into more of a regular squat position with our feet closer together than they were in the sumo squat, sending the hips straight back, arms come down between the calves, and then we're pressing our hips forward as we come back up. And one thing that I want you to avoid the tendency to do is to arch your back as you come up. You want to keep a nice straight back, and you can do that by really squeezing your glutes at the top. And if you're feeling pretty good here and you want to add a little jump, be my guest. You just lift up your toes. And once again, it might be helpful to tap your butt down, and you don't have to dangle your hands if you don't want to. Might be helpful to keep them up if you're jumping. And that was great. Just a couple there, but the full body extension with the arm swing is a great way to do a low impact squat and still get a great cardio burn. You just go quickly through those. Now I'm going to move back into our triceps move. And I'm not sure how you felt about the last one when we had both hands going, but if you'd like a different variation this time, go ahead and support yourself with your arm against an elevated surface, and we'll just kick it back on one side for a few reps, and then we'll do the other side. We can isolate. And one of the things I want you to notice is that I'm not kicking it back with my shoulder rounded. I'm really isolating my shoulder back, bringing my shoulder back into its socket before I kick the arm back. We'll go ahead and do the other side. Just stepping into a supported lunge position, drawing the elbow up, and then kicking the arm back. Once again, starting out by opening the chest and drawing the shoulder back and down into its socket. Nice, even kickback. And if you preferred with both arms together, you can of course do that variation. We'll do that again in our last round. Just want to give you some options. There's lots of ways to do triceps kickbacks. Set your weighted objects down safely. Find a chair back to utilize and stand tall with your hands against it. I'll start out with my left foot braced as I step back behind me with my right knee, keeping my hips square, keeping my core braced, pretending I have that crown up on my head. And the reason I say that you don't want it to fall down is just like we were talking about in the squat. If you're bending forward, your body's kind of coming into this position where you're losing that core engagement, and I don't want you to do that. I want you to really stay upright. So work on that in whatever way feels the most supportive to you. Let's go ahead and switch sides. And hey, if this curtsy lunge doesn't feel good, I want you to switch to just regular reverse lunges. And as you look down to check in with your alignment, you should be able to see your toes as your knee is bending. So this is another reason the chair really helps you activate the right muscles, helps support your core as your core is building that strength and helping everything integrate around your pelvis so that you're in the right form as you're stepping back and as you're stepping forward. Great job. Give me just one more like this. or switch to regular reverse lunges. Great work. My heart rate is totally going up there. And we'll come into our second set of curls. Now, first set I did it seated. If you like that, please do that again. I'll do it standing for my second set, just for a variation. And we're gonna stand tall. Once again, bringing those shoulders back and down into their sockets so that they're nice and aligned. We'll start out with our palms facing forward, curling up to our chest. And then we'll just rotate our arms out to the side and curl out to the side at a 45-degree angle. Nice, curl, and then curl out to the side. Now, notice how my elbows stay in next to my body as I'm working through my curls. That's a good cue for you to think about. If you are fighting with the amount of resistance you're using and it's getting too heavy and your elbows are sort of having to, move around a lot, it might be that you don't need to do any more curls or the weight that you've chosen might just be a little too heavy. Nice job. Go ahead and finish this up with one last curl and safely set your weighted objects down, keeping them in close to your body. I like to kneel as I move in between those types of things. And we've got one last set of all of our moves to go through one more time. So let's work on our sumo squats again. Now, if you are already not using something to tap your butt down to, or even if you are, and you would like an opportunity to make this a little bit more challenging for yourself, you could grab one weighted object or even two weighted objects, put them at your shoulders or at your sides, step your feet out wide, brace your core, tap your butt back and down, and come straight back up. Nice. Straight back up. Brace your core. Notice how your glutes are doing the work here. One cue that has always really helped me get the most out of a squat, whether I'm doing it with my own body weight or I'm adding some additional resistance, is to imagine I'm pressing the earth away from me. As I'm coming back to standing, I imagine the earth is getting pressed away. So think about that as you do that movement, and you will really feel your glutes activate. Your quads are also working pretty hard here. Nice job. Give me about one more. And if you're holding weighted objects, you can set those off to the side. We'll come into our last set of elevated push-ups. Now, you have every option available to you. You can do these on your toes, kneeling, however you want to start. You can even move in between the different variations. Our hands are going to be below our chest, and then our elbows will come out to the side, and we lower our chest down, and then we press ourselves back. As you come down and as you come up, your back is straight. You feel that core braced as you move through this. Nice work. Lower down, press it back. Lower down, press it back. And you can switch between kneeling or being up on your toes as much as you'd like for about 10 more seconds. And you can always stop before me. Great job. Last two, last one. Beautiful work. Come out of that by supporting your body, and we'll move into that more cardio-based piece. So full body extensions or jump squat, totally your choice. I'll start out with my full body extensions, which is where we dangle our hands between our feet, and we're in more of a regular squat position. Send the hips back. And then as we come up, we're squeezing the glutes, turning this into a low impact cardio move. So good. Up, squeeze, up, squeeze. Great job. And if you're like, okay, Betty Rocker, I'm ready. I want to do some jumping. Well, be my guest. You're going to jump and you're going to land. And as you land, control the deceleration. You can always be next to a wall to help brace yourself. And you want your knees to track in alignment with those toes. You don't have to jump super high. Great job. And you can always switch to your full body extensions for your last 2 seconds. Awesome job. Gotta catch my breath there. Gonna move back into some tricep kickbacks again. Now, if you preferred the standing version with a support with one arm at a time, you can do that. You can do both arms together. I'll give you a cue for when to switch if you're gonna do single arm. I'm gonna do the double. Here we go. Start it out. Kick it back, bring them together. My shoulders are back and down in their sockets, and I'm going at a really nice, slow, steady pace here with both of my arms as I'm working. And if you're using a single arm, you can go ahead and switch now to the other side. Keep breathing. Sometimes it's easy to hold your breath when you're doing a workout, but we don't want that. We want to be sending nice fresh blood and oxygen through our cells, through that muscle tissue. Last 3, 2, 1. Stand tall. Always safely bend your knees, keeping the weights in close to your body as you're setting things down and picking them up. Very important as you build on your resistance to continue to respect your body and the form you use while moving things around. This will translate out into your daily activities as well, and you'll just hear my voice in your head constantly, like telling you to bend your knees, use your hips, use your core. Let's do some more curtsy lunges or straight back lunges. Hold on to your chair back. Brace your pelvis and core so everything is facing forward. And we're just stepping back. I didn't tell you which leg to start with, I think, so just whichever leg you started with, great job. We'll transition to the other side when we get to the halfway point. Nice and stable and controlled, keeping the pelvis square, keeping your body upright. You're wearing your crown because you're a queen, and it's not falling down as we step back and forth. Great job. Give me another one on this side, and then go ahead and switch to your other side. Nice stable base through the standing foot as we step that knee back behind the standing heel. And again, no big deal if you're like, I don't like how the curtsy feels. I want to go straight back. So you just explore that. You know, you got to listen to your own body. Keep breathing. Nice job. Stepping it back, stepping it forward. Feel your glutes working. And there's a lot of intrinsic stabilizing muscles in your glutes that are also working here. Nice job. Give me one more on this side. Beautiful work. And we have one last move. And remember, you can do that seated or you can do it standing. It's our bicep curls, 2 different ways. So grab yourself some weighted objects and we'll go ahead and turn our palms out, bringing our shoulders back and down into their sockets. It's a gentle, we're not squeezing our chest back or anything. We're just gently neutralizing our spine, curling it up, lower down, bring the arms out to the side, curl up to the side. Great job. Back to the front, curl, out to the side, curl. Yeah, great job, guys. Come on, let's go. Curl, lower down. Remember what I said about the eccentric contraction. If you would like to work on making lighter weights feel heavier, yours might be just right. It's just an option for future reference. Last one. Great job. Safely set those weighted objects down. Thank you so much for joining me for today's workout, Rockstar. It's always great to get to spend some time with you. I hope you enjoyed this. And as always, you can find more of my programs along with things like this Foundations type series inside of Rock Your Life, my online home workout studio and women's fitness community, where I have challenge programs of all different types, lengths, with equipment, with no equipment, all the way up to barbell strength training, all the way down to body weight training, and everything in between. We also have customized options for women in different life stages. So if you happen to be in those menopause years, I've got custom programming specifically for you and everybody else as well. So I really encourage you to take a trial to Rock Your Life if you're a new member. grab the link here on this page. I'd love to see you there, welcome you into the community, support you with all the healthy recipes. Really, it's a very holistic experience when it comes to supporting your entire body and getting you feeling and looking your best. So grab that trial. I'll see you inside, and thanks for spending some time with me today. As always, I'm Betty Rocker. You are so awesome, and amazing. Bye for now.